Hello dear students of class 3 and welcome to yet another online class of general knowledge. Dear children, today we are going to do the 16th lesson of a GK book. Who am I? Don't worry, it is not the question where you get to describe yourself. Who am I, dear children, refers to something that we call as riddle. Riddles, also known in Hindi as Paheli. Also known in Hindi as Paheli. You see, dear children, riddles are cryptic statements, encrypted statements in which there are hidden clues to the answer. Mostly, riddles are poetic, okay? Often, even if not poetic, their lines in the beginning, at the very beginning, they won't make sense. So, one thing that's required is you need to dive in deeper. You need to dive in deeper, okay, to get the answer out of it. So today we'll be looking at some of those riddles and we'll try to find out their answers. All right, so let's begin. Number one, what starts with P and ends with X but has hundreds of letters in it? What starts with P, ends with X, but has hundreds of letters in it? So let's analyze this. Something, it starts with P, so we can think about all the words that start with P, but the thing is it has to end with a X. All right, so think about all the letters which starts with P, all the words, sorry, not all the letters, all the words which starts with P and ends with X. Obviously, whatever it is, it has limited set of letters in it, limited set of alphabets, but it says here it has hundreds of letters in it. Now we all know that in English alphabet there are only 26 letters, right? There are only 26 letters in English alphabet. So question is, what can carry hundreds of letters, starts with P, ends with X? Your answer, dear children, by now you have guessed it correctly, is post box. What is your answer? Post box. All right, post box. You see, starts with P, ends with X, and we all know what is the use of post box. We put our letters in it, so it always holds hundreds of letters, right? So now I think you have received a faint idea about what riddles are all about, right? Let's look at second one. What starts with T, ends with T, and has T in it? What starts with T and ends with T and it has T in it? Okay, so pay attention to the clue here. Think about all the words which starts with T and end with T, but what it carries? T. Now if you look at it, there are three T's out here, T, T and T, right? But the hidden clue is in the third T. You see, the third T is not just an alphabet, right? It's about pronunciation. Third T is actually T-E-A, T. So I think by now you must have received the idea about what it is all about. You see, starts with T, ends with T and it has TEA, T in it. Therein lies your clue. So your answer is tea pot. What's your answer? Tea pot. You see, starts with T, ends with T, and what does teapot hold? Tea. All right. So having said that, dear children, these are your two riddles. Now I'll rub it. Move on to the third one. What is broken every time when someone speaks? When someone speaks. What is broken every time when someone speaks? You see, dear children, normally whenever we have to break something, right, we need to apply force. Correct? We need to put a push or pull against it, or we need to slam it against something, then we break it. But here it says, as soon as you speak, you break something. What do you break when you speak? Right? Now think about it. What do you break when you speak? Just by opening your mouth, just by uttering a few words, you are breaking it. In fact, you can consider right now with me speaking, I am breaking it. I am in the process of breaking it. And what is that I am breaking? I am breaking silence. 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 So you see, silence is broken every time we open our mouth, because that time we are talking, we are making noise. So you see, silence is broken. Now moving on to number 4. What belongs to you? But is used mostly by others? What belongs to you but is used mostly by others? Think about it. It's yours, it belongs to you, you are the owner of it, right? You tend to mention it as your own now and then, but in normal terms, this stuff, though it is yours, it's mostly used by others. Understood? It's mostly used by others. Once again, I am telling you, what belongs to you but is mostly used by others. Means this stuff, whatever it is, it belongs to you, but it is mostly used by others. And the answer is your name. Your name. You see, dear children, your name is something which is yours. But do you use your name to call yourself? Whenever someone has to call you, they use your name. Whenever someone has to point you out, whenever someone has to relate to you in any way, they use your name. So you see, your name belongs to you, but it is mostly used by others. Then comes fifth one. What gets shorter the longer it stands? What gets shorter the longer it stands? Once again, I'll read the question for you. What gets shorter the longer it stands? You see, the longer this thing stands, the longer this thing is put to use, it keeps on getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Okay? And to put to use doesn't mean we have to move it. We just have to let it stand in one place. We just have to let it stand in one place, and it starts getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So what do you think the answer for this is? The answer for this is candle. 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 You see, candle is something, as soon as you put it to stand and you put a fire to it, right? Then you don't have to move it here and there. You just have to let it be on the stand. And as long as it will stand there, it will keep on getting, it will melt and keep on getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So you can say this, what you call riddle, can get clearer when it will be, what gets shorter the longer it burns. If it would have been it burns, you would have easily figured it out. But the whole point of a riddle is that, dear children, it should never be easy. It should not be very easy to figure out. There has to be clues hidden in it, but they should not be easy to figure out. So having said that, remember this, what gets shorter the longer it stands? Candle. I'll be rubbing it. Number 5. What has a thumb and 4 fingers? 4 fingers, but is not alive. But is not alive. What has a thumb and 4 fingers but is not alive? It is not a living thing. See, what has a thumb and 4 fingers but it is not alive means it has thumb, it has 4 fingers. Now you know very well that normally living things like us, we have a thumb, we have 4 fingers, right? Used for grabbing and catching. Now this stuff also has thumb, it has 4 finger, but the best part of the story is that it is not alive. It is not a living thing, it is a non-living thing. Now think about it. What can have a thumb? What can have 4 fingers? But it's not a living thing. Your correct answer for this is glove. Gloves. Gloves. You know gloves? The one which we wear to protect our hands during winter, right? Or while playing any sports, we put that on to protect our hands. It's known as gloves. Now think about it. It has a thumb, it has 4 fingers, but it is not a living thing. Okay, having said that, let's move on to another. Sorry, this is not number 5. This is number 6. So let's now move on to number 7. What can you catch but not throw? What can you catch but not throw? You see, dear children, you can catch it, you can hold it, right? But you cannot throw it. Now this is the example, best example of a cryptic riddle. Because fun part of the story is that if it is not thrown, how it is caught, right? In order to catch something, the first requirement is that it has to be thrown. But here, you catch it without throwing it. And your answer is common cold. Common cold. C-O-M-M-O and common, C-O-L-D, cold. Common cold, also known in your lingo as sardi zukam, right? You don't have to throw it, but you always catch it. Having said that, let's move on to number 8. What kind of coat? What kind of coat can be put on only when wet. What kind of coat can be put on only when it is wet? Means, see, normally we put a coat when it's dry, right? We never put on a wet coat. You can think about a raincoat, but raincoat also we don't put it when it is wet. We put it when it is dry, then we go out in rain, then it gets wet. But this particular coat you can put on only when it is wet. So what's the answer for this? The answer for this one is color coat. Color coat. Here, children, the trick is that the word coat doesn't refers to the wearing coat. Here the coat refers to the layer that you put. You see, paint as a layer can be put only it is when it is wet. You can't put it when it is dry. So you see here, color coat. Now dear children, these were a few riddles in your book along with their answers. I'll be providing you the clip of the page. Okay, you will note down all the riddles. For answers you can refer to the video, and you'll note down all these riddles along with their answers in your GK copy. All right, thank you very much. Stay safe.